right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Honcast here. Twitch.tv/Honcast coming at you. What is the weekend now? That means we got Onslaught coverage of continuing the group stages to determine which two teams from each group will move on to next week and face off in a double elimination tournament where there's $3,000 prize pool on the line. Looking forward to continuing coverage here on Honcast with this event. Today we got 4 best of ones going to be coming at you, so we got 4 games in total. It will be that amount of games. Again, these are best of 1 series. You play the other team once in your group, total of 3 matches, and again, the top 2 move on. With that said, excited to be here. We got a great match to kick things off. As you can see, Team Who going to be going up against Bad Monkey Gaming. That is right, in case you haven't heard yet, BMG recently picked up, well, formerly known as Willowkeeper, and now officially part of the Bad Monkey Gaming organization, going into, of course, the World Final event. Good timing with that. With that said, excited to be here, joined by the one and only Minnie. Minnie, how's it going?
Hey man, yeah, I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to obviously some more games of fun and get to see some newer teams. But we haven't really seen too much of Who, I don't think. And obviously, we haven't seen too much of the new BMG in terms of the sponsorship name. So yeah, I'm looking forward to some games today, man.
Yeah, excited to be here. And again, this format's fun. We just got straight up best of 1 series. There's no best of 3s, and obviously those are good for their own purpose and everything. But I like the change up here. I like the change up. We're gonna see a lot of good teams going at it, and some good matchups as a result. So we're getting it kicked off with this one. Just to clarify again, this is one of 4 matches. You look at the schedule right here, the brackets again. I know it's a little bit small, but you can get the idea right here. So we're kicking off with this one. It's going to be followed up by BMG versus Fresh, actually. Will be, or no, that's, wait.
That was yesterday.
That was
yesterday, right?
that was on Thursday. Yeah, never mind. So it's actually going to be, okay, so we got this one, then it's actually Fresh versus Team Who, and then that will be followed by Reason Gaming versus the Solaire Club, and then to finish it off, Sync Esports versus Reason Gaming. So,
Ooh.
again,
Nice.
yeah, we got some good matches throughout the day here today, and excited to be here with that said. So here we are in this one. Now, both of these teams happen to be 0-1. Willowkeeper, a.k.a. Bad Monkey Gaming, they lost to Reason Gaming. And no, it wasn't Reason Gaming. It was they lost to Fresh. That's right. They lost to Fresh in what was a rematch of the Grand Finals. Fresh really took it to them. So that was kind of interesting to see. Whereas Team Who lost to Shrek Is Love, also part of Group B. So it's safe to say, I mean, you need a win here or else there's pretty good chance you might not be moving on. So
Yeah, it's
that's
pretty
important.
crazy thinking that. Pretty crazy seeing that. And yeah, I mean, we saw from on Thursday, Fresh played incredibly well, Reiki, and yeah, BMG have got to sort of up their game if they want to make it through, as you said.
Well, we'll see. Anyways, we are moving along here. We got the next tier of bands even starting, so let's go ahead and take a look what's going on. As you can see Quincy back once again. It's always good to have him back as well. We got the initial bands, Flux, Warbeast, Kinesis, and Parasite. Again, not too surprised to see that Kinesis band. Boxy showed against Fresh in that grand final matchup that you do not want to let him get his hands on Kinesis. So not going to be happening here. Nympphora, first pick for Team Who, followed by Tremble, Kraken into Andromeda, Bubbles into the Legionnaire. That's just been the signature hero lately for Bad Monkey Gaming now. So what do you think?
But yeah, obviously Tremble first pick up here because obviously they let him slip, which is understandable obviously because they burned out the Kinesis, which from Boxy just is so strong as well, so it's understandable. But now they've got to deal with Tremble. I mean, I guess they have some ways of dealing with it. They've got the Nymphora, so it's almost sort of global versus global in that respect. Pick up Kraken and Bubbles, a pretty solid start to the draft as well.
Yeah.
Ban out Lord South Forest though, which to me is a little bit strange. I don't really see the understanding of that, to be fair.
Who band? Yeah, Team Who banned at Lord
Yeah.
South Forest. Yeah, there's not like a lot of heal on BMG. I mean, they already
No.
banned a Curse.
And BMG doesn't really play Lord South Forest, really.
Yeah. Actually, that kind of brings up an interesting point. I know his band, it's not going to be happening this game, but a Curse, when he pops his ultimate, if he has the Undying on him, will he actually heal?
I think he will.
I don't know because we know like Oogie doesn't heal if he gets it on him. So I mean, what does it actually say? It says activate to remove debuffs. Oh, yeah. So it probably would remove the well, no, because
it doesn't remove some debuffs. Though.
Yeah,
I have.
Oh, well, that's one of those things, man. That's one of those things. Yeah, we're not going to see it here, but I would be intrigued to find out the answer to that. Anywho, we got the follow-up Magnus pickup though coming up for Team Who, and they're just all about the gank, man. I wonder how they're gonna finish off here. You'd think it's gonna be some kind of carry, of course.
Yeah, they need some physical right click really. They got Bubbles, Magnus, and Kraken. A lot of aggression, like you said, a lot of team fight, but they're gonna really struggle past like 25 minutes if they follow along this trend. So I'm assuming it's gonna be. I think someone that's going to almost have to be sort of self-sufficient in terms of the carry role. I'm assuming Magnus and Nymphora are going to be their supports, though, which aren't the greatest supporting duo. So something that doesn't need too much support from his supporting cast, because the Bubbles most likely be off lane, Kraken will be mid. They're thinking about right-clicking Malakan, which is not too bad, actually.
Yeah.
They can handle that. Self-sufficient in the lane, but I'm wondering, like, the Magnus Nymphora combo is a little bit strange to me. Like, Nymphora, yeah, a great hero in general, but again, like, kind of weak in the laning stage. Normally you want a support pairing that has good laning phase, but when they pick up Magnus, it's a little bit lacking in that respect, and I think BMG might try and punish that. They picked up Midas, who will most likely be Boxy in the suicide lane, and we've talked about it before that, like, you have to almost shut down Boxy in the lane, because otherwise he can easily snowball out of control. So, and I don't think Nymphora Magnus is the supporting cast to do that, but we'll have to wait and see, I guess.
You do see this is probably going to be Root of Z's hero right here, and Riftwalker is still on the board now. Not the most AoE heavy lineup here, to be fair, so wouldn't be surprised if it's not that, but at the same time, he's comfortable with it, so could be that. You know, the Behemoth definitely has tendencies to play as well, so we'll see what option they ultimately go with here, though. Get a little bit of time left.
Rift could be good though, like it would have some decent counter initiation because who've gonna jump in obviously with Bubbles, Kraken and Malakan and even Magnus as well actually. Like who've got a lot of heroes that will jump into sort of the mix, for example, and Riftwalker would be a really good counter initiate here actually. I mean so would Behemoth, I guess. Either one of those two would be pretty useful here.
Yeah. Well, counting down the timer. Only about 25 seconds remaining, so Fusin going through it here, thinking about what makes the most sense. All right.
Unless they want to run Midas second support?
I would think that's going to be the case, unless Root of Z? No, that's weird.
It's a little bit weird, but unless they run just straight Legionnaire in the jungle from the start and then run... no, they're switching up.
Okay.
So they're going to run Midas. That makes a lot more sense, actually.
Yeah.
And actually, this makes... actually quite a lot of sense though, because when we see this from BMG, obviously, you know, Legionnaire will get like level 3, level 5 rotate to the jungle, and then Root of Z will rotate mid, for example. I think one of the biggest criticisms I had when Root of Z would rotate to the middle lane, he'd be playing like the Thunderbringer one time, we see the Riftwalker one time, and it's that he'd always get picked off, like because he didn't have an escape mechanism. Now you put Midas in the middle lane at like 5 minutes in, he'll have the E, so he'll have that escape mechanism. So yeah, I can actually understand the pick here. Makes a lot of sense, particularly in the laning phase. So.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Again, Wretched Hag in the hands of Boxy, sure enough. So, yeah, the Wretched Hag making a little bit of a comeback here in the Onslaught event, apparently. I know we saw it throughout this week as well. Once or twice, I believe, even. So, Boxy going to be... What was it, actually? BMG that ran it?
Yeah, it was Boxy to me. Picked up the Astrolabe Blood Chalice.
That's right, yeah.
That's right. Like, what?
That's right. That was, yeah, that was in the grand finals, yeah. Interesting. So, yeah, we'll see if he goes a similar style here. Midas, off the bat, yeah, is going to see that they're coming and will quickly fall back, as you see right there. Yeah, I mean, you do look at the Wretched Hag stats. I mean, we have seen plenty of Hag. I mean, 43 games in total, but again, that was really in the beginning of the season, and that also goes back to the Carnage and Caldivor, I believe, from the preseason to Hunter Season 3. So, you know, keeping that in mind there as well.
Yeah. I mean, Hag the last pick Hag as well is still useful because obviously we're talking about who have a lot of sort of jump potential in a good team fight. Obviously, you've got Malakan, Kraken, Bubbles, all Magnus. They all jump into the one place, and although it's not a Riftwalker for Root of Z, Wretched Hag for Box, he still follows a similar lines. You know, you got the good Bat Blast onto Sonar Scream, has a lot of AoE potential that Boxy can hit, for example. So makes sense.
Ward aside here to block the pole cam from Boxy, as you see right there. So he's known for doing that, of course, on the heroes, especially with that blink style of ability, such as a Hag. Able to get down there very quickly with the boots first and get down that ward aside, and obviously Team Who there also were occupied in the other jungle. So again, an important match here. You know, just getting the name BMG as well. Wouldn't it be something if they don't qualify for the second tier of this event? I know that they're going to the World Finals and all, so you know they have that to look forward to, of course, in the end. But I think it's safe to say their sponsorship and maybe a little bit of pressure put on them that they want to perform for that reason, if anything. So
yeah, definitely.
it's something on the line here more than just I know it's only a $3,000 prize pool, still some fair money, but it's a little bit more than that too, I would think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, seeing as they lost their first game against Mint when they had the tag, they definitely need a little bit of redemption in that respect. Interesting to know, though, Mavericks actually started doing like sort of the jungle pool, which was obviously kind of invented per se, from BMG, so it's kind of interesting to sort of see that there. I'm wondering if Box is going to try and contest it, but he doesn't really need to, though. He's got his own lane for himself down here. I don't think Nymphora can really box him out, so he's going to get quite a bit in the bottom lane just from that alone.
Yeah, Wretched Hag, of course, with that blink and can get those positions to leech experience of anything. But again, especially in Box, he's going to stay in that lane, stand his ground, as we already see here. You mentioned him for maybe not the strongest babysitting hero when it comes to that support option. But again, seeing this Legionnaire mid, it's like people may see this and be like, what are they doing? But if you haven't been watching HoN for these last couple of weeks here, I can understand why you may be a little confused. So were we when we first saw it. But this is what BMG, formerly known as Willowkeeper, they have been doing recently. They've made a play. They like this idea. He gets to level 3 or 4 or so, then he goes to the jungle. Now he's going to take some good damage right here, actually. Oh, one more auto attack. That would have done it, but good attempt by Kraken right there.
Yeah.
In the end, he survives, though.
So I think, obviously, Kraken was just going for a last hit there, just nice charge back. If Magnus was actually there as well, just unfortunately timing that he wasn't, but it would have been an easy secure kill onto Legionnaire. But yeah, the matchup between Legionnaire and Kraken, though, is in favour of Legionnaire, just because it's melee versus melee matchup. And normally Kraken wins those melee versus melee matchups, but Legionnaire, just because of his spins. But he's already rotated over to the jungle, though, and Midas is going to sit mid. But this is what I was talking about as well, though. They're going to have a hard time killing this Midas because he has that elemental warp. And not only that, Midas is a strong 1v1 hero, and he's actually the same level as Kraken, so it's going to start from 1v1. He's only 280 GPM, actually, so...
Oh, bottom lane. Boxy, he will survive. That was close, too, though. Malikan using that sword throw. Nearly enough for the kill, especially with those enchanted flames of his, but not enough when it's all said and done. So Boxy pops a health push and going to be good to go for the time being. But, yeah, it's safe to say Balthazar at the top lane. He's having some free farm. 11-5 up here. Now, with that said, Magnus... No, Bubbles is one up here. That makes more sense. Yeah, only 3-1. I was looking at Magnus. I was like, he's actually doing pretty well. But no, he's, of course, doing the pull down here. So Shorkin playing the Magnus and doing his part to kind of play that jungle Magnus. Again, Root of Z-esque, you can say. So here's that transition, though. Midas gets the bottle. He comes to the middle. Of course, Legionnaire in the jungle. Kraken, he's like, you know what? Legionnaire's in the jungle. He was lower early on. Why not see if I can snipe him out right here? I don't know if it's going to happen, though.
A little bit risky, but I mean it makes sense though. But yeah, with Midas rotating middle though, like not only can he not die because he has that escape mechanism, he's a very very strong 1v1 laner, honestly. So being range versus melee matchup, he's going to have a strong time. Actually, Wretched Hag might be in trouble. Magnus is trying to dive in.
Trying to get close enough. Midas is here now, though, with the transmute, actually. So all of a sudden, Magnus might need to be one to be careful right here. No, he dodges the combo. And Wretched Hag, she takes a stun, but still Magnus in trouble. He will go down. Bloodlust kill in favor of Bad Monkey Gaming. Nymphora doesn't have the mana for a Zeal stun. It's not going to matter, though, as Kraken comes in to cut off Wretched Hag right there. Midas, though, nice transmute. Will get the kill on Nymphora. So far, it's 2-for-1 exchange. Trumbull joins the party as well. And now Malikan is low. Jim Carrey can't, unfortunately, as the final set of damage, going to be going out right there. Tremble with that Dark Swarmer Fist. Ticks him down. Only level 1, but that's all that's needed to get the kills. And now a 3-for-1 exchange. It might be a 3-for-2, though. Legionnaires in the midst of the battle. Taunt comes out, though. He says, Magnus, get back over here. We want to still finish you off. Magnus, not enough mana for a stun as well. Still on cooldown. He goes down as well. And boy, oh boy, Team Who, it's one thing for it to be a 3-for-1, but that final kill right there, that was just getting greedy.
Yeah, that was an insane early rotation though from Balthazar. Like he was level 4 when he rotated down there, just bought a TP and came down. So really nice active play from Balthazar. Yeah, and just I think with them having, I think Root was at level 4 or level 5 already. Just they were very high level compared to the supports from Who, only level 3 on both, and Nymphora on Magnus, and it made the difference though. But without a doubt, Tremble rotating that early on made a huge difference in that engagement.
Absolutely. 430 gold per minute now in Midas as well. Root of Z all of a sudden 2-0-2 on top of what's been pretty solid creep farm. Of course, started with that jungle in a sense. He's level 6 now. He still only has the bottle currently, but he definitely bought something. Is it on the courier? Doesn't look like the courier's being used by Boxy at the bottom lane, being a courier hog down here, but he'll eventually get that upgrade, whatever it may be. onto him right here. So Team Who need to kind of change the pace right now because obviously with that start, BMG feeling pretty good, especially with Malikan also getting picked off. His farm definitely dipping a bit. But Kraken, he's the shining star here. He's level 6 now. He's farming 336 gold per minute. Top lane in the meantime, Bubbles. He's being dove on at the tower. Tremble will do enough damage for the kill, and he's going to walk away as if it ain't no thing right there. Even killing off a creep in the process. So that's the power of Tremble too, how tanky he can be and the chase potential. As obviously got Bubbles with a Shell Surf down, or maybe just it wasn't enough mana. One or the other. Unable to get away right there. So good start once again.
Yeah, just nice chase onto the Bubbles there. And interesting actually from Box, he's actually picked up the Blood Chalice as well, which tends me to assume he's going to go the Astrolabe as well. I can understand it though. I remember he was talking about it before the last time he did it, and he said because he had like loads of Tangos or Runes of Blight, he had like, I think 4 or 5 at the time. He said, I don't really want to be controlling runes, I want to just be sitting in my lane, and obviously he needs some kind of mana regen, so he picks up the Blood Chalice where he still has ways of sort of sustaining his HP, obviously with the Runes of Blight, and assuming he goes for the Astrolabe as well. So I can understand the item choice, but it's a little bit strange, but I guess that's just boxing.
Yeah, well, exactly. Top lane again, Boris comes out, and once again, Bubbles will fall as a result right here. So now Baltazar on that Tremble you mentioned earlier, he made a very early rotation, and it's paying off big time. 4-0-0 for him. 400 plus gold per minute. You look at that stat right there from Quincy. Root of Z specifically, he's kind of that core player in the sense that if he does well, so does the team. 300, that's not even a whole lot, only 300 GPM, but they happen to be 22-2 overall record when he hits that 300 GPM mark plus, and right now he clearly has that plus more, so very good news across the board, and that's just another reason why BMG obviously just in a very good spot right here. You see they were trying to gank Kraken in the middle lane even, but he actually gets away. Now he did have to use his release of Kraken pretty defensively right there, and that's not usually a good thing, especially when you're the only one doing pretty well right here. So, Bubbles? Okay. Yeah, he's going to be fine. Is this his first game, really? Henkisten? I don't even know what that means. It probably means something very... something bad, let's just say. But hopefully not. Anyways, the point is...
I mean, if you look at BMG though, like it's pretty ridiculous how much farm they've got across the board though. They're getting they're playing practically 4 cores at the moment. Like this Midas is practically playing as like a solo mid, yet they've got like a farming Legionnaire in the jungle as well. They're getting farm bottom, they're getting farm mid, they're getting farm top. Whereas they're not farming mid, they're not farming top, they're not really farming the jungle. The only lane that really getting farm on is Malikan down bottom. And because of this, you just see BMG, they're just so far ahead in terms of golden experience. And I think in a game such as this, or in any MOBA really, it's so important to have that golden experience. It's all about the macro game. It's all like an economic sort of side of game, and BMG are clearly winning it right now. And it's just because they're effectively farming every part of the map right now, and they aren't pressuring. If they're not getting farm in the lanes, they need to pressure. This is the pressure I'm talking about top lane.
Man, yeah. Kraken is going YOLO right there. He will charge away defensively, but now Trouble, they're going for Bubbles even. He has to take cover. Not even necessary right there. Will survive, but again, using a kelp field. And that's the thing, too. Kraken, Bubbles, we've seen them now a couple times, using their ultimates defensively here. And, especially when you're behind, you need to try to be using those aggressively, especially in the likes of Kraken, he's the one that has this great start here. And at 375 gold per minute, he's still managing to farm very well even out the top lane. So getting that portal key ASAP, making use of that release of Kraken for Team 5 for a gank even. Very important. Bottom lane in forehand. Wretched Hack going at it. Wretched Hack will get the kill, but it might come to cost right here. Malikan, he's chasing him down. Doesn't have a sword throw up just yet. Uses the ultimate to fear him. Wretched Hack has a blink, though. No, not enough. It actually went a cooldown right there. And she will fall in the end. Now, Legionnaire, he comes in with the top, but was way too late. And, yeah, he does not want to fight toe-to-toe with Malikan here. And he will fall back. So that was a great choice by Malikan to pop the ultimate when he did.
Definitely, just nice skill onto them. And I like at least who are trying to pressure the different lanes though, because if they're at the moment they're getting out farmed, then the only way to sort of stop that is if they try and get aggressive and try and look for hero kills. If they're not winning the passive game in terms of raw farm, then they need to get aggressive, and they've got the heroes to do that though. They've got obviously Magmus and Bubbles, for example, and obviously their kill down bottom is a good start.
Yeah. Magmus, speaking of him, any sign of productivity? Not really, unfortunately. 150 gold per minute. Still trying to find that groove here is Shorkon, and yeah, hasn't connected just yet. So getting that portal key, though, of course, continues to be an important item pickup here for this Legion team as a whole. Again, it starts with that Kraken at least, and he is well on his way to that. Now, Thunderclaw just picked up a Baltazar. Also going to push a nice deny at the tower right there. Will it come at a cost, though, himself? There's the second stun from the Comet. He is going to charge, but Tremble positioning himself perfectly right there. And down falls Kraken. Yeah, it's that's the downside of Kraken. He has a getaway tool, but if players know how to play against it, obviously by now they're very adverse to playing against it. You get in front and you go with him. So that example right there.
Really nice rotation. It's a little bit annoying, annoying here for Team Who, obviously, because that was kind of the person with the highest GPMs closing on that portal key, but going to be a lot further away from what they can be now. I think this Magnus needs to try and get involved, though. I know he's been farming the jungle, but I think he needs to try and get active in terms of looking for hero kills, perhaps even wherever the lane it may be, but he needs to get active because he's farming the jungle quite slowly. He's nowhere near like a portal key, so there's no point in sort of sitting back and trying to farm it. Just look for hero kills because at the moment, the rate this game is going, they're slowly losing this game. So.
That they are, and you look at Wretched Hag, and guess what? He's going that build. The Astrolabe finished right here, so he, again, you brought that up to Fusen, and it seems like he grew on it as the game picked up, from what I recall. Maybe initially didn't really understand exactly the idea behind it, but it made sense. I mean, again, it allows him to be aggressive in the sense of what the team especially has that Astrolabe heal to use. Even himself can get a little more aggressive because of that. So sure, it's not the damage item. It's not the Hellflower eventually, things like that, but
yeah. Well, it makes sense though. Like I think it was Swindle actually when he was on the cast. He said like Wretched Hag in itself just does a lot of damage from her spells, and obviously going Hellflower and like, even other items like Sheepstick, for example, is good and all, but you don't always need that. As long as you have a presence in the team fights, just from being tanky, your spells can do the rest of the work. So I can understand it, and obviously gives him some kind of health regeneration as well to effectively use the Blood Chalice, so I understand it.
Yeah, that is true. We do see at the triple stack on the Legion side, of course, Team Who going to make their best of that, and Malikan getting a majority of the farm, understandable with that. Pops his ultimate to take it down. It looks like, again, he has a helm of the victim, so it usually seems like the Insanitarius is the go-to rather than the Whispering Helm. But actually, no, going to go the Whispering Helm here first. As a result, but now Legionnaire in the meantime, he puts it on a bubble. He is found by Kraken. Release Kraken comes out. Tremble is here. Couldn't get there in time, though, as down goes to on. Tremble in trouble. Bad Blast, though, going to be used, and Kraken will fall to that extreme power right there. And now the chase is on in favor of BMG. Bubbles, he once again is going to fall right here. And a 2-for-1 exchange when it's all said and done. So Legionnaire goes down, but again, they got the 2. And now they're going to group up and push this middle tower most likely. So just when you think a good catch comes out for Team Who, unfortunately it turns in BMG's favor right here.
Yeah, just good rotation from BMG. Like they were trying to effectively farm, effectively sort of just constrict where Who can farm and really try and force their advantage. And when you're like 8 or 9,000 gold ahead, the team fights are just going to go be in favor of you. Like I said, like it's all about having that advantage in terms of golden experience, and they had that from the start of the lanes, and from now they've just sort of snowballed from there.
Yeah, here they have 14 minutes into the game even right here. It's BMG just total control, 10,000 gold lead, 9,000 experience lead. Helm of the Black Legion actually picked up on Baltazar here. And honestly, as far as a follow-up goes, I don't believe that's usually the case, but I guess he has been getting a little more aggressive here, constantly looking for action, and the Black Legion is usually good for that purpose as well as like pushing and whatnot, so makes sense here, you could argue.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of heavy burst here from Who.
Yeah.
It's going to stop him from getting bursted down.
Look at the rest of his team, though. Down here in the jungle, or at least a couple of his teammates. That's an illusion in the front lines, I guess, so. Scouting it out there. Are there any mounds down here? No, not currently. How about their ancients, though? Yeah,
there's one on the Hazel Ancients there. Oh, there is one down here, actually, on the bottom room. But this is the most annoying thing about Tremble, though, is like the heroes are obviously really strong, but I think the most annoying thing is the Terror Mounds, though. The amount of time the enemy team has to actually sort of invest into sort of shutting them down, it's very frustrating. Old middle lane Legionnaire.
Legionnaire, he put the taunt out, though, before Kraken. He was a little bit too late with his release of Kraken. I'm sure that's what Shortcut was hoping for, but they still get the kill, so again, mission accomplished right there, despite the eruption not going off. Meanwhile, back to the bottom lane, though, they know that the most support won't be nearby. Malikan, he will get away initially with the sword, though, and N4 definitely dead, but they do pick off Malikan as well as Boxy chases him down with that sonar scream. Either going to dive further, it looks like it. Bubbles now in a lot of trouble. He has a Kelfield, can't even get it off, though. Probably wouldn't have mattered anyways. He goes down, and this is going to now be a tower push in favor of BMG. It's going to do a quick point where Team Who, it's just too much to handle here. From Bad Monkey Gaming coming out, the aggression is just too much.
Yeah, I think so, and it's just like I said, BMG just got so much off of the lanes. They had 4 sources of farm, like they were farming top, mid, bottom, as well as the jungle as well, and Who, they just weren't very competitive or weren't that really threatening in the lanes. They had like a bubble suicide that doesn't really have too much impact against like a Tremble Andromeda lane. Obviously Legionnaire was in the jungle after level 5. And Midas rotated mid, and Boxy, like I said, he wasn't pressured too much from Nymphora. Like Nymphora kind of had a weak laning stages, and Boxy really did take advantage of that. So, yeah. And I mean, they tried to run like this jungle Magnus, but it wasn't too effective really. Magnus, normally whenever you see like Root of Z do like the jungle Magnus, for example, he would have like pressure on other lanes, for example, when he was jungling the Magnus as well, and Magnus didn't have that.
Catch onto Andromeda right here. So again, at least a kill coming out for Team Who. They use the Kelfield in the process, so staying in the game is what the name of the game is right now for Team Who. 16.5 minutes in right here. Getting Malikin more and more farm, of course. Again, got that Whispering Helm initially, so a decent farming tool for him. And now working towards a Shrunken Head. I mean, those 2 items alone can definitely bring a lot to the table. It is safe to say, you know, good amount of, they're not really the most magical damage, more I look at it here on the Hellborn side, but it will stop a bit, you know, of course, including the Croc control abilities. And Malikin definitely can stand his ground, especially if he gets his ultimate off here. With that Enchanted Flames of his, but will most certainly need that support from his team. Obviously, the Portal Key on Kraken is big, but both Bubbles and Magnus, they continue to struggle somewhat when it comes to their farm. So getting Portal Keys on them or some kind of initiation tool, whether it's the tablet or the PK, will be important. Middle lane. Forrest TPing in. Who was that with? That's what's Kraken. Oh, he missed the initial charge. Oh, no, actually, he did hit it, I think. Maybe that was Steelstone. Anyways, they get the kill. And down goes Wretched Hag. Midas, he goes for the chase on a Kraken. Release Kraken, not the best placement right there. Andromeda comes in, comments on it forward. Decapitate, though, from Legionnaire. He's got a Portal Key and showing it off right there. Bubbles, he's going to be chased down, but so is Nymphora, being locked down by Legionnaire, actually, by himself. And a couple more auto attacks should do her in, and there we go. So a double tap for Kraken. But it's also denied. It seems like we've seen that a couple times now, where Team Who, they start off pretty strong, and the idea's there, but it's just good reaction from Bad Monkey Gaming.
Yeah, just nice rotations. I like the idea, though, from Who. They did kill, obviously, Boxer. They got the tower as well, but BMG, they just rotated all 5 over him, and Donkey, or, sorry, Who were just a little slow. I think Bubbles wasn't there, neither was Magnus, and they, it was just a simple 5v3 at the end of the day.
How about this item choice here from Legionnaire? Going to Lex Talionis, actually. Picking that up and having it delivered.
Yeah, I do like it, though. It's like, to me, Lex is kind of like the more aggressive, like Mystic Vestments kind of thing. Obviously, because the Mystic Vestments give, I think, like 5 magic armor, whereas Lex still gives like 3, but you obviously have the active ability as well. It makes sense, though, obviously. Like, a lot of, obviously, Legionnaire's burst damage comes from sort of physical from the spins and obviously from the Terrifying Charge. It's just a nice utility item. I really do like it, and it gives him a little bit of extra burst because of the minus magic minus armor when he charges in and stuff. So it makes sense. I like it.
Absolutely. Conger goes down, and that means it's a token of life for Tremble right here. Obviously, the Brutalizer follow-up to the Helm of the Black Legion, so he's hitting very hard, pretty tanky here, and that's never a good thing if you're the opposition, in this case, Team Who. I believe I just saw Sackstone. Yeah, just finished on Boxy right there. He's definitely built a very tanky Wretched Hag in a sense, too, because of the build he's gone for, with that Astrolabe, the Sackstone, the Steam Boots on top of that. So, but like you're saying, and like Swindle, I mentioned before, you know, the idea that the hero is really a lot about just damage output from his spells. Doesn't necessarily need the big damage items to assist with that. Now, again, you could argue like the Hellflower and Sheepstick, of course, great for lockdown, so there still is very good use for them. But for the earlier game where you want to get those items to start doing action early on, it makes sense here. And we are seeing that. Oh, Kraken misclick. He forgot to use the portal key first. That happens sometimes.
But yeah, just going back onto the Wretched Hag, like, it's all about item progression kind of thing. Like that's why normally you don't see like first item Sheepstick or first item like Wingbow, for example, because it's just not good build-up. It's not very effective. Whereas like you see what Boxy's done, they built all these sort of items that are kind of somewhat cheap. To be fair, the whole of BMG have done that though. Like, you know, you got Brutalizer, Helm Black Legion on Tremble, Portal Key on Midas, Wretched Hag with obviously her build-up, and they're just going to take team fights kind of thing and pushing their advantage. Um, it's just very, very efficient use of the gold they spent and the effectiveness they're going to have in team fights.
Tower goes down right there. That's at the no. There's still the top secondary tower up in favor of Team Who, but obviously dropping quickly across the board. And parts of me wonders if Team Who is really aware of how far behind they are, because 15,000 gold, 50,000 experience, and 20 and a half minutes into the game. I mean, this is just drastic here with what BMG is going.
And it's not because like BMG have got like a massive kill score. I mean, yeah, they've got 11, which is quite a bit, but it's just like I said, the effectiveness and the amount of efficiency they got from the lanes. They farmed all 3 lanes as well as the jungle, and a lot of their lead not comes from kills, but just from raw CS. I mean, look at the CS score right now: 144 on Tremble. Then you've got obviously 90 from 3 other players as well. It's pretty ridiculous amount of farm they've got just from raw CS score.
Yeah, 600 gold per minute on Tremble. Yeah, ridiculous there. And also leading the damage charts there. Not too surprising to see, I guess, 19% overall damage done in his favor. But Malakinny's still trying to finish that Shrunken Head. Won't have it too shortly, so might need to just fight elsewise, because that's obviously better than doing that and just giving up your racks here. But gonna push out the middle lane at least a little bit and try to get closer. He needs 2,900 gold total, I believe, to actually finish the Shrunken Head here. So he's but just over 1,000 gold still left before he'll hit that mark. Tremble's getting low, but he does have the token, basically making a point that he's going to die right here anyways. Yeah. Yep. All right.
Who are doing the right thing, though? They're trying to delay for Magnus portal key, and he does have it now bottom lane, so they're going to TP back. He isn't level 11, which is a little bit frustrating, but they're going to have to do what he's got. He does have portal key, though, so maybe who can make a stand with the portal key on Magnus? That's
true. Not being level 11, though, that does suck, because you're missing out on some good extra damage from that. At this point, I mean, maybe we'll see if he can actually get enough experience before a fight breaks out, which could be possible at this rate. I mean, you do see BMG not sticking around much longer. In fact, they are going to start falling back. Now they're going to steal the resources, including the triple stack Ancients on the Legion side, and that's never a good thing. Again, in this case for Team Who, it's such a huge swing of resources right there. That go for the other team's favorite. Kraken again, he misses the charge. Good attempt, but just a little late. They out of order sight here, so obviously they knew the whole time, but couldn't get there in time. So good steals, and look at the gold saved up. Everyone has at least over 1,000 gold. 3,600 on Tremble. Here on BMG. Bigger and better items coming out soon.
Yeah, I could even see a strong. I don't think actually he'll go Shrunken because he's got Helmblood Legion. Having both of those defensive items is just kind of a bit of a waste, to be fair. I think Shrunken would have been a really good item pickup though, instead of maybe the Helmblood Legion, because there's a lot of magic damage here from the side of Who, but he decided with the Helmblood Legion instead, which I think he just wanted to force the issue and start taking team fights early, which he did. As for a final item, he does go Shrunken then.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, it's a very good item. I just didn't think he'd go Shrunken and Helmblood Legion because they're both pretty defensive, but still useful. I guess it's good for sort of closing out the game as well.
Yeah, I think he's in a spot especially. Not only he has some good support that's putting out some good damage, of course, but Tremble is early on in the game. Thunderclaw alone, it provides a lot of damage with those impalers of his. A lot more procs more frequently, of course, as a result of that. And a hero that definitely could put out some good damage, just inherently, not necessarily like the Wretched Hag, of course, but still the idea is there and has enough to be doing some good damage here. Obviously, the Brutalizer is assisting plenty with that as well. With those procs going out. So yeah, the Shrunken Head will just give him the free roaming, and in a sense is that damage tool when if he's allowed to constantly move around while not being crowd controlled by the magical stuns at least. So nearing the easy win apparently, 600 gold per minute mark. Over that figure, all players are 99%. Again, I still can't believe a player has lost with 600 plus gold per minute, but apparently it has happened.
It's probably because it's like you got 2 hard carries, both have like 600 GPM, for example, then obviously they just lose after that. But yeah, it's a little bit surprising. But
well, yeah, I guess in that case only one can win technically, so makes sense. But yeah, it's safe to say this is not that game right here. Tremble is by far ahead of everyone else. The only loss is versus a 600 GPM game, yeah, so that makes sense. In the end, the big picture there. So, but again, Team Who, they're doing what they can. They know that both the teams knew going into this that another loss here. Again, as you see on your screen, both these teams are 0-1 currently in the group stages. You only play 3 matches in total, so every match very, very important. You go 0-2, mathematically you're still in it, but there's a very good chance. I mean, you need a lot of things to really work out, and the best you can do is a tie and get that tiebreaker, which it would all have to work out. It's very rare to say the least is the ultimate point. So. Yeah, you lose here. You're not feeling good about moving. Again, they then have to actually face Fresh in the next match. So Team Who, back-to-back tough matches here today against difficult opponents. But hey, you gotta beat the best to advance on. It's understandable.
To be the best.
Exactly. Beat the best to be the best. It flows so well. Not here for Team Who, though, unfortunately, so far. So they, not many fights left in them, you figure. They got the Shrunken Head now in Malikan. They got the portal keys we talked about. Magnus is level 11 now. Bubbles getting his portal key sure could also be pretty important, but I think it's safe to say they're going to be as strong as they're going to be at this time here.
The only problem is if they want to take a decent team fight that will be well executed in their favour, it's got to be kind of inside their own base, because that's when they have the jump, that's when they have the initiation advantage, because BMG are going to be pushing up higher ground and clumping up from there. But it looks like BMG are going to try and force a team fight outside the base, which is the right decision to make.
Oh, they're going to get a couple of heroes. Bubbles immediately dead off the bat. Malikan, he's also getting caught right here. He's forced to sword, though. Going to go for the team. He didn't pop a Shrunken Head, though. And he is going to be stopped. Now, the swap would have made him stop anyways, to be fair. But, yeah, not popping the Shrunken Head prior to that, that could have been a big mistake. But when it's all said and done, didn't matter. And now 26.5 minutes in with those couple of picks. You love seeing that play, too, from BMG in this case. It's like they're up by so much, yet they're still making the aggressive, the Veiled Rock ganks like that. I mean, they're just really taking it to Team Who, not giving them any chance here of a comeback. So, well played on their part.
Definitely a statement.
Yeah.
Big statement game. I mean, it just goes back, I think, just to the original lane sets, as I said, and they have pressured. They've had a very, very solid game. There's been barely any mistakes from the side of BMG, and I guess that just shows the strength of the team.
Yeah. Tremble leading the way once again. Again, no token of life this time around, but it's safe to say they're probably pretty confident that they outmatch Team Who right here as far as the items especially go, and the levels on top of that. You do see Kraken trying to push that top tower. Again, they only have one tower kill so far, so that, of course, not helping things either on the Legion side. They're possibly going to get a second one right here, but they do lose their bottom base tower in the process, as a vote to pause going to be coming out right here from BMG. But BMG, what could possibly be a final push coming out here into the base of Team Who. Really taking it to them, and, the chances very, very slim. They need everything, the stars to align here for Team Who to even win a fight, let alone win this game. And they're in that case too. They say they go 5-0 here. They get a big cleanup some way, somehow. They still have a lot of room a lot of space to make up. So.
True. Well, at least BMG don't have token though, so that's at least one thing going for them. It looks like they're going to have Kraken with Shrunken Head as well. He's been farming that off, or pressuring top. Did someone TP top? It looks like someone's TPing top.
Oh, maybe actually. They might be trying to defend it.
That little sword above the... Can you see the little sword above the tower? Can you see the animation?
Oh, like the disarm? No, I don't see a tower. I don't see it up there.
It looks like someone's
with the pause, it's hard to tell sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, they're not. Okay.
What is this about? Having 1 0-death player gives... Having 2 gives 100% win. Interesting. Yeah, they do have 2 right now, so... That means 100% win percentage at this point. Here we go. They get the top tower, but Wakasio Legionnaire goes up with a ton. Automatic. Malikan dropping right off the bat. Not the good start they were looking for. He cannot buy back either. And once again, really as we expected, Bad Monkey Gaming, too much firepower. Taking it to Team Who right here. And now they're going to push in the racks, and that very likely should be the game coming out. There you go. The vote to concede. GG well played in Game 1. When, well, again, the series here goes to Bad Monkey Gaming. So they're going to go 1-1 now, obviously, in the group stages here. Team Who will fall to 0-2, and their next opponent is Fresh, which they're going to play in the next match, actually. They need a win no matter what, and even with a win, they're still not looking too good, unfortunately. But, hey, got to start somewhere. But clearly, BMG, they came to play here today, and they just they take it to Team Who. Didn't really give them much of a chance, it seemed like.
Yeah, just solid play and solid draft as well. Everything made a lot of sense, obviously, from the Midas pickup, obviously. Made a lot more sense than some of the other secondary supports they've been having because of its laning presence and obviously its ability to sort of escape as well. That's why he went 5-0-7, for example. If he was a Rift Walker, might have had a couple of deaths to his name, but yeah, just strong overall play from BMG and looking good with the new tag. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's obviously their first game